Let's take a look at the next progression in our butterfly flutterfly series. Here we're going to now look at the pieces of equipment we're using. We're using just fins here to kind of keep our body assisting us in moving forward. In our previous variations and progressions, we had been using a snorkel with this. So in this variation, we're now going to take away that snorkel and introduce the breathing component to this drill here. Now here, as we're moving through, what we want to take a look for first is going to be the kick. This drill is done with a flutter kick just to kind of keep things easier for the athletes so that they can focus on the timing of the arms along with the breath, and we're not going to have to worry so much about the butterfly kick. So here what we look for are toes being nice and pointed. So we see that here on that side, same thing on the other side. Along with those toes being pointed, what we want to see is just this nice natural bend in the knees with our kick. When we are having that natural bend, we're going to be performing just again some nice strong movement. What do we mean by excessive? Excessive means something like this, where you're making a 90-degree bend in that knee. If we were doing that, we would be kicking a lot of air, resulting in not really moving forward. What would this look like under the body is kind of that same thing. The knees would be tucking in, maybe under the chest or under the hips here, tucking under the hips, kind of again forming a 90-degree angle bend, meaning we're not really grabbing a lot of water when we're kicking. So we just want to make sure that we want to keep the legs, yes, nice and straight, but just allow for that natural bend. When the feet are up like this, what we want to see is a effort to get those feet to be kicking downward. When we do that, we want our athletes to kind of think about like they're kicking a ball under them, so that way they can really focus on just driving those feet downward as then they're going to be traveling through the water here. So that means that the legs are going to end up to a level under the body here, and that's going to be okay as long as they're able to remember to return those feet up to the surface, having a very, very, very strong kick here behind us as we then move through the water. So we take a look here at the arms. So we want to see those arms kind of come out right where the suit is cut on the hips, also or at the hip, somewhere in between here. This is usually what we kind of find is a really good range for athletes. Also want to start to pay attention to the head and what's going on with that, because we don't have a snorkel anymore. So we're going to introduce what we want to see with the breathing and also what the head's doing. Head here is looking down as we're going through the recovery, doing a really, really nice job there. As the arms are coming out of the water, we're doing a nice job keeping those arms nice and long. Palms here are facing behind us. And then when our body makes a T here, kind of see that with the arms, what we want to do is shift those hands so that they start all going down. When we do that, that's going to release tension here on the shoulders. And then we want to make sure that we are landing here with those arms really on top of the shoulders or just outside. Developmental athletes, it'll be all right if you are just outside the shoulders when we're performing this movement. That's going to just, again, kind of help us perform the stroke in a good spot, so that way we can get into the catch here as we're moving through the water. On that landing position, what we want to really focus on is sliding those hands along the surface as much as possible. We want to keep the head tucked in between the arms, and then really focus on the chest driving down so that those hips get up. We'll look for here in a second for a stroke to be taken with a breath. So right here. So check this out. As those hands begin to pass the shoulders right here, we see a lift of the head being taken. We want the breath to be very, very low to the surface of the water right here, with those eyes looking forward. And then we want to be able to see what happened right there. The eyes went down. We want that head to get down So that way it's clearly in the water, so it's kind of hidden between those arms as then the hands come with contact on top of the water. So that's really great timing of that breath right there as we move through the water each time. So otherwise we can kind of tell if the timing of this is really good by just looking at the stream of water. So here we kind of see that the stream of water is going here like this, and that next stroke cycle the timing wasn't as good. We kind of see this X being created. So we want to always kind of see that the stream of water is a little bit more like it is right here, where it's going to be low and forward. So we're going to shift here to our underwater view. We're going to take a look at the kick. So just again, remember, we want everything here to be nice and pointing. We want to make sure we remember to have those feet come below the body. Here we can come even a little bit lower, not by much, but just a little bit. Just remember, we want that downward force exerted when we're performing this kick. On that return view, we'll take a look at those same items. So here we'll start out with that breath. So here, as those hands are passing the shoulders, we see a lift of the head and the chin. We want to kind of keep everything here right along the surface of the water. Perfect. Eyes are going to be looking forward. And then we're going to start our descent down. Now, as these arms are coming out, we're nice and long. Palms here are facing behind us. And then as we make that T, we begin that shift here then to start going downward. Now on this side, we could go just a little bit more on getting that hand here to go downward. That again is going to really release the pressure there on the shoulders. And then remember, we come in on top of the shoulder line right here. Developmental athletes can come even somewhere in between kind of here. So just this is kind of that range we'd like to see them in. Being outside the shoulders will be all right. Now remember, on the landing, push the hands forward and then keep the head in between the arms. Perfect. Remember to press that chest going downward, and then we just kind of keep everything going here. Beautiful job here with that nice strong flutter kick. And then we're going to transition here to that underwater view. Now, here we kind of see that head creating the press as we're going to be moving through the water. So see that right there? We'd like to see the head be up here a little bit higher up toward the surface as we're performing the movement. Ultimately, if the chest is going to be at that point and that head's going to be up a little bit more, we're going to be in a really good spot. Now here, with that catch, just remember, what we want is a power triangle to kind of be created. So here we could actually see the fingertips go down deeper and also a little bit closer here to the body. Formulating these top power triangles is going to really help our athletes feel that best combination of speed and power, so that way we can really move through the water effectively as we're going to be traveling through with our movements. Overall here, if you found some great value out of this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe.